Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College Application and Website Development, or AWD program, and in particular the AWD1100 C# Programming Fundamentals class, I'm doing a series of video presentations based on the book that is being used for that class, that being Muroc C# 2015. And I've gone through the first 6 chapters. And in addition, I've been creating a kind of a perpetual or payroll program, both in GUI format and also in a non-GUI or console format. All right, and I am in Chapter 4 of the console program, and to my dismay, what I found out is I was actually had one program up, actually 2 programs up, and I was running the wrong program. So let me just show you this real quick. I'm going to run it, and then I'll go back and discuss it. Now, if I leave first name blank, I get an error message, and I'm told to re-enter. Same thing with the last name. If I enter an amount for payroll that's out of range, I get an error message, and I'm told to re-enter. Same thing with hourly rate. Alright. But now notice I have a valid first name, a valid last name, a valid hours worked, and a valid hourly rate. So once I put all that in, I get all that information shown to me. Probably be a little easier to read now if I didn't have those new lines. Then it says to exit the program now, just hit Q, then the enter key. To continue, hit any other key, then the enter key. So I'll hit T. Console clears. Let's put in there Bob Jones, 3030. All right, now there's 2 employees. The first one made 800, the second one 900. So the total payroll is 1700, and the average is 900. That looks wrong, so I'll have to check that. In fact, let's do that right away. Make sure that indeed I'm printing out average payroll and not total payroll there. That's not gross pay, is not what I want there. I want AVG payroll. All right, and as I'm printing this out, I will print it all on, just not on separate lines like that. Not a blank line in between each one. Alright, so let's try it again. You've already seen how how everything works when there's valid data. So let's just put in, you've looked at the invalid data, so let's put in a couple with valid data. 20, 20, there you go. 1 employee, 400, 400. Mary, alright, Mark. Barnes, 30, 30. Now there's 2 employees, 400 and 900. It's 1300, which divided by 2 isn't that so much. That is wrong, but we'll fix that. I'm not worried about it. All right, finally, one more time. Mary, K, 10, 10. Alright, so that average payroll calculation is wrong. Q, boom, I end. So the average payroll shouldn't be the gross pay divided by the total employees. Nope. It should be the total payroll divided by the number of employees. Now I believe the program is correct. Let me go over the entire program, then let me run it again. Alright, I'm still not using the max non-overtime hours right here, which is fine. I made all of my variables that I'm using in the program global. And the reason that I did that was because of the fact that throughout the program, I'm passing stuff all over the place. And if I didn't make them global, like I did. I'd have to go into some of the method stuff that we're not going to cover till Chapter 6. So in Chapter 6, I'll take this and take all of them, or virtually all of them, I believe, and make them, instead of having them global, I will have them local, and I'll be passing them. So main becomes calling input values, where I input the first name, validate it. If it's not valid, I give you a message box and ask you to redo it. Since it's a while loop, by the time you get here, something was entered for the first name. Then we do a similar thing for the last name. And again, by the time we get here, something was entered for the last name. Now, the program isn't perfect. This is really a bad thing to write right here. I shouldn't be writing it like this. But when we get to the chapter where we're going to be discussing methods, I guess that's Chapter 6, what I'll do is, rather than just setting this, all right, I will validate hours worked and hourly rate to make sure both of them are also numeric. All right. So again, right now the program will blow up if I put a non-numeric value in for hours worked, and it will blow up if I put a non-numeric value in for hourly rate. So either way. So notice I call input values, and then input values calls calculate gross pay. And calculate gross pay does just that. It adds to my total employee counter. It figures out my total payroll by adding the gross pay to it. And it figures out my average payroll by dividing total payroll by total employees. Then it jumps back up here, calls print totals. You've already seen this. All right. And then it jumps back up to main again, and it calls exit the program. Here's where I had to do a little quote magic unquote. All right. What I want to do is, if you don't press a Q, I want to clear the screen and call main. But when you call main, main needs to have an array passed to it, an array of strings. So I created an empty string array that had just the empty string in it, nothing else. All right, so let's save this, run it one last time. We'll put in 3 employees. Bob Smith, 2020. There's 1 employee, 400 hours. June Jones, 30, 900. 400 and 900 is 1,300. Divided by 2 is 650. So that appears to be working. And Pam Green, 40, 40. So 1,600, and before it was 1,300. So 3 employees, 2,900. 2,900 divided by 3 is 966.67. It is off by a penny. Now I put in a Q, boom. Everything's cool. So that's the end of the program, the console program for Chapter 4, where we did some input validation. You also got to see in here while loops. All right, I don't believe there were any if statements. Nope, there is. And an if statement. All right, so I'll be back with more in just a bit.